What's up, you dirtbags? We are back. We are increasing our episodes to 2 a month. We are going to get after it here. We've had a great response from all of you. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, go to the other channels, give us a subscribe or follow and rate our channel. We've seen a huge increase of listeners of dirtbags all around the world. So we appreciate the love and we can't wait to dive into this episode. We've got James Doyle, owner of Innovative Lawn and Landscape. You've probably seen him on social media. We really dive into the hard times and some of the struggles that he's seeing as a business owner and also having his wife along for the ride. So let's dive in right now. The Dirtbags Podcast, episode 7.
I follow a lot of guys online. I talk to a lot of guys business-wise, and I hear a lot of horror stories. And I think a lot of that kind of comes full circle into why we haven't really gotten into a major fuck up yet, because I try to rob other people's experience and see, okay, like they're putting this guy that has absolutely no experience in a dozer or an excavator, or even a little track loader on a site. And he backs into a house, or he backs into a job site trailer, or whatever. So I kind of try to take those things and say, okay, like maybe I put myself in those situations in the machines because I have the most machine time on some of our install work, and I don't let a lot of the other guys do it specifically on a job site. Maybe we kind of wrap that into how can we avoid those situations. And ultimately that kind of boils down to like me being the one all kind of guy, right? Like I'm at a position now where I could use 3 or 4 guys that are like me, right? It gets to the point where I'm always in the hot seat. I'm always in the truck, whether it be our triaxle or the hook lift or whatever. I'm always in those situations where there could be, kind of damage control, right? Like avoiding those situations. And it's very detrimental to like hurting our growth, because I think that we could be 3 times the size that we are with just the ambition. And, but I'm at the point now where everything goes through me, and it's kind of hurting our growth. But I don't know. We're in a weird spot, So I'd like to, I don't know. It's kind of tough to really say that nothing really comes to mind of like, oh my God, we flipped this truck, or, oh my God, we got this mower rolled into a pond. Or, I mean, we have some really good guys that are very, very conscientious and careful. And I can't say we're in a really tight spot for any major, learning curves here yet, but, and I get it, accidents happen, and, hopefully if and when that day comes, everything's good. And we take the most out of it that's negative and learn from it, and, kind of improvise, adapt it into our day-to-day schedule and learn from it. Right.
Oh yeah.
James, what's the next step then? You talked about, and I love talking to companies that hit that ceiling and are trying to burst through it and either scale or grow or whatever they're doing. Yeah. So clearly you're at that level, and you can't do everything. And I was listening to your podcast on the green grind, and, you talked about how the first thing you did, you got an accountant or a bookkeeper, like day one. Yep. It's like, get that off your plate. So what's the next step of taking something off your plate or bringing somebody in, or, to grow?
Yeah. So there's a couple things that we're trying to do. So, I'm kind of like, I'll be honest with you, I'm all over the place, man. Like we do a lot of commercial. We've kind of broke into like the higher end, larger scale residential grounds maintenance on like the landscape and grounds maintenance side of things. So it requires a lot of labor. We do it with 4 to 5 guys on that side of it. And sometimes like seasonally we'll add on a couple extra guys. We have a couple high school kids that come in and college kids in the summertime for a couple months. And that takes up a lot of labor. And like, obviously in this labor market, the way it is, it's hard. It's hard finding guys that want to put their all in, that aren't just here for a paycheck. And everybody hears landscaping and landscaper, grounds maintenance. It's not like a long-term thing. Right. And that's kind of the thing that hurts us, because, we have, I would say 3 to 4 really, really good guys, that love being here and love the work, and that's all they know. We just hired on a girl. Her name's Liz. She's got a wife and a son, and she's 33. She's been in this for like 12, 15 years now. And she's awesome. I mean, 3 weeks in, she's literally running. I'm getting text messages from guys that are like other business owners and stuff driving by our property. She's on the maintenance side of things. They're like, dude, who's this chick that you got out there? She's killing it. She's holding a trimmer the right way. She's walking the right way. She's not discharging stuff towards cars. Like, impressive, So like, on the grounds maintenance side of things, I'm trying to figure out something to get back to your question, not off on a tangent, but like to try to figure out something to eliminate. I haven't been on a mower in 2 years, 2.5, 3 seasons now. I haven't been on a mower. I hired my full-time, maintenance foreman. He takes reins of that whole side of the operation with, aside from like the spring and fall cleanups and stuff where we need extra manpower and whatnot. He handles that whole thing. So now like on the install side of things and like the smaller dirt work, we're going to call it, that we're doing, I'm just trying to chase whatever comes in. And the kind of the thing that I'm having a hard time with on my side. And I guess it all ties into both sides of the business, right? Splitting it down the middle, 50-50, the grounds maintenance, so the install, and like the landscape construction, the land management, and like the small compact excavation work we're doing, just managing it all. It's just tough, man. It's tough. It's tough to schedule everything, especially with the way things have gone the last 2 years, like trying to get fucking materials for like a patio job, trying to line all that up. Okay, our normal supplier doesn't have it, but they're going to have it in 2 weeks. Do we wait and schedule it out 2 weeks? But then the job that we have in 2 weeks, we got to move now and they don't have that shitty. Like, it's just chaos. Right. So like, I'm thinking to myself, do we hire like a guy from another business that's already in this business and try to like manage everything and like say, okay, hey, he's going to scale. And I've had a guy that's reached out to me. He works for another company. I hate to say like a superintendent or like a operations manager, because it sounds like so cliche, like, oh, wow, you got an operation manager. Like, that's sweet. But it's like, we're still a small company. We're not like, everything goes through me. We're still small, right? We have a number of trucks on the road and we do a lot of work, but if we have, I just don't know if we could financially and like have enough work to support that. But at the same point in time, I'm like, well, if this guy could organize all this stuff and say, hey, I've now sold this amount of grounds maintenance work and this install work. I'm going to find you another guy for this side of the business, and we're going to split your maintenance crew in two. And these guys are going to be more efficient. Like, that's kind of like my risk that I'm trying to figure out if I can take, to see like if we can just make everything run more smoothly. Because my stronghold is in the field, like operations and sales. Like, that's my stronghold. Organization is not. I'm a fucking tornado, dude. I come into a room or a job site and I'm all over the place. But like, when getting something done, like I saw you, one of you guys liked our photo today. That job we just did today, like, it ain't no advanced wall structures or rock structures, backyard transformation. But like, we came in, dude, brought in a couple 100 yards of material, moved shit around, built a small boulder retention system to help it, hold the bank back, give them something within budget, what they wanted, in a day and a half, a total of a day, with, not counting mobilization and demobilization. So like, we can get shit done, and I can get things like to a point where, you see the results happening. So I don't know. I think that's my next step of really figuring out if that's the right move, to get somebody in that could, one, help sell jobs and then organize it all. Right. I think that's really where we're at.
Yeah.
But it's just tough. It's a tough call with the economy that we're in. Like, I don't know where this stuff's going to be in 6 months. Like, I got a son on the way that's due in September, like 7 weeks away. My wife's a saint. And like, I'm at the point, like, do I take that 60, 50 to call it $75,000, $80,000 a year salary? Maybe it's commission, and say, I know the business can support it, but like, what happens if we go down and I end up on a mower next year to like, with 3 of my top guys, just keeping them going, and I lay the rest of everybody off if the economy tanks? Like, that's my thing. It's just tough. It's a tough call.
Yeah. Well, first of all, congrats. Baby boy coming.
Thank you.
Luke,
future operator.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Luke, do you have any advice for James here on having a little child, little mini me?
Just enjoy it. Like, I hear all bunch of shit of like, be ready to change diapers, be ready for sleepless nights. Those don't matter. Like, you're just being in the presence of like a little kid that's yours, right? It's so much fun. So my biggest thing is enjoy it. Don't wish the time away. Take a fuck ton of photos. Let mom get some rest. Hopefully mom lets you get some rest. And that's it. Just have fun. Yeah. If it were up to me, I would have 4 other kids right now. But Riley's like, whoa, no. Like, I'm like, all right, come on. Let's go, mama. Come on. But we're also not married yet. So we got to wait till we're married.
Yeah. Come on, Luke. Pump the brakes here.
Yeah. I am Catholic too. So it goes against our religious views, I guess. But God will forgive me. I go to church.
Man, that's great.
James, I got a question. kind of for you on, you know, the growth standpoint of things. When you obviously, yeah, business is fucking hard, right? Making all those calls yourself are really tough because you don't have anyone to fall back on to where if you make a mistake, right? Where you guys, they fall back on you and like, James, what do I do in this fuck up? How do you try to incentivize someone like that? Have you thought of like, I need someone as sharp as I am to fit this role, but how do you incentivize someone to try to find that right person? Like, have you thought of that at all? I saw, because didn't you outfit one of your service guys with like one of a newer pickup? That was fucking cool. Like that, I think that goes a long way with guys, just kind of getting them the tools that they need to complete their job correctly, which you have done an awesome job at. But, you know, outside of that, how else can you incentivize?
Yeah. So exactly. So Zach came on with us in June, June 1st or 2nd, whatever he started. So that was a big thing. That was like a big step that kind of changed things a little bit this year that I wasn't really anticipating. Like it was in the near future, but it wasn't like this year. Right. So one of my main guys, that was my only other CDL guy aside from me, that was moving equipment, moving dumpsters, ready to start driving our triaxle. You know, he chased his own dreams. I respect that. He came to me one day in the middle of the job and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I'm just not feeling, I've had this dream since I was 14 years old to go on my own. Well, I remember it word for word. I said, dude, I'll support you however I can. I said, 6 weeks into the season, it's a little bit of a tough conversation to have when we got a fully booked year here. But so long story short, Zach's been with me for a couple of years. We've been friends for years, you know, all group friends. He's been with me on the off season, working 2-3 jobs, you know, his main job, and then, you know, ourselves plowing and then helping doing oil deliveries and stuff like that. So I called him and I'm like, dude, I got nowhere to go. I'm like, I literally, like, I just bought this triaxle. Like, I bought a black T800, Luke. You can appreciate it. Like,
I love that
T800.
Fucking thing. I love that.
Like, I got to the point, like, we did this huge cut and fill job for my sister, my brother-in-law, 4,000 yards of material in, like, back to back, a couple of weekends of just importing material. We cleared like an acre behind their house. We surveyed it. I had a survey for them, just found all the plot markers and everything, all the monuments. Told them we had all this room. And we're like, let's do it. You know, we cleared it. So it was kind of like it was the opening ticket to, like, a couple trucks went down. We were short a couple trucks. And I'm like, you know what? We need a triaxle. We had all this work lined up and I'm just like, I got to bite the bullet. Like, we're killing ourselves with this little 6-wheeler. So Zach comes on. I'm like, listen, dude, I got to get you on. Like, what do I got to do? And he's like, well, you know, I'm like, I just bought this triaxle. Like, I need another CDL driver. I can't move all the equipment. I can't move I can't do the work, drive the truck, run the machines. Like, I can't do it all myself. So that opens the conversation of, like, benefits now. So, like, retirement and health. And I'm like, you know, what do I got to do? So I called my accountant. She's like, I'll give you the number of this wealth management company that we use. You know, they do a lot of our clients. So I jump on board with them. The process goes back and forth a couple of days. I'm like, listen, I'll offer you X amount an hour, a week's paid vacation, some personal time. And I gave him everything that I could. I'm like, what's the cost to that versus what I'm going to do if I can't fulfill these promises to these customers that I've made this year? Like, and some of this work is like big fucking work. Like, you know, like work where I'm like, I'm pulling my boots up and I'm like, I'm scared shitless, but you know what? Like, there's no growth in your comfort zone. Like, I'm just stepping into it. Right. So I'm like, think about it. 2 days later, my last day is June 1st. I'll see you on June 2nd.
Perfect.
Now I got to get benefit. Now I got to get a benefit package, right? So we start with So we start with a simple IRA. You know, a health benefits package where I pay a percentage. You know, and it's just something. So, like, I think that, like, tying back, Luke, to your other question of, like, what's the next step to, like, you know, that's like a big thing of, we're a landscape construction and landscape maintenance, you know, grounds maintenance company. There's 96 registered LLCs in my area for, you know, entities for landscaping. Like, it's a lot. Like, there's competition everywhere. And it's an easy entry level, you know, type of business. Right. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's a lot of guys that do it, but, like, I jumped past that. I tried to jump past that as quick as I could because of how much competition's at the bottom, you know? So, like, I think that we're, you know, a little bit ahead of the ball with trying to offer this. I just hope it, you know, financially, you know, we could do it. And the guys that come on and take it seriously, I think it kind of separates the men from the boys. You know, who wants to be here long-term and enjoys the work, and, you know, just shows that I'm willing to take care of the guys that come in and take care of us. So incentivizing, you know, aside from that type of stuff, like, that's a pretty good incentive that, you know, in this type of industry, like, hey, you know, let's do it. jump on, I'll take care of you. You take care of the company. You have the best interest in mind. You're securing your future at that point. Right. So I think that's, a good thing, like having people come on, but like on a, what we were saying, like on a, kind of like a management position, maybe some type of like, profit sharing, like, hey, a percentage of jobs sold, whatever, you sell a job for 10 grand, it's, it's $500 for you or 350, but whatever, something, just to help, like car salesmen that or get paid hourly don't sell shit. Yep. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. So that's kind of my theory behind it, but I don't know. I'm just rolling every day. I wake up and I just do it. Win the day. I try to win the day, man.
Fuck yeah. I love when you repost Andy on your stories, because I'm always like, all right, James, this is good when he's posting it. So I got to go listen to it.
Oh yeah, dude. Andy's been my grind since I'm not like a diehard religious every day, but there's a group of us, Chris from Key Land Management, Travis from Savian Sons. There's a couple of us that are like, just strive to do better. Fuck the rest. Like, you're in competition with yourself, nobody else matters. And there's just some really good content that he puts out, man. It's, it hits home and it gets you going, Well,
it's so true too. It's so relatable because he's got the attitude of fuck it, get it done. The only person that can get it done is you and what you built behind you, right?
100%.
I'm all about that. Back to the point, 96 LLCs in your area for just the same shit that you guys do. Holy
that's what it
shit.
was that's what it was a couple of years ago. I don't know if it's less or more, but it's in the 90s. That's just for this county, like, and there's
really?
5. So like, yeah, I mean, and that's like the things that are like reputable, I guess. I don't know. So I heard it, to be honest, I heard it from a statistic from somebody else. They said it was just in my town. It's only 46,000 people in this town. I don't think that was, it's a small city. It's not that big, but I don't think that it's 96 registered LLCs just in my town. But
damn,
yeah,
there are a lot of landscape guys.
James, we should get you out to North Dakota. There's some room out there for you.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah. Come to Fargo. You would dominate in Fargo. Jeez.
Yeah, I came out, man. I came out over the wintertime. I came out and
that's right.
And hung with Jeremy, and he put me to work, man. And me and Jeremy met back out. We talked for years, and we finally connected out at GIE. We were out there and we ran into each other at 4th Street Live, and got it going. He's like, dude, you got to come out and plow with us, man. I was like, I took him up on it. I messaged him one day. I'm like, dude, we're not getting shit here. I'm like,
coming out.
I shot him a text, and I'm like, when are you getting snow? He goes, we're supposed to get 6 inches on Thursday night. So I'm like, I waited till Tuesday. I bought my plane tickets. I'm like, dude, I'm leaving Wednesday night. I'll be there right before it starts snowing. Man. I got there that night and it started to snow. It was a blast, man. It was a good experience. It was cool. It was good to check out some of the stuff that I kind of have like, invested in, that side of the business, on a much larger scale, see if there's some things that we can implement here on a smaller scale. It was cool. It was fun. It was a good experience.
I remember you coming out. I had COVID.
I saw your track loader, man, dude. I
had COVID when you were here because you're like, hey, let's go grab dinner. And I was like, dude, I've got COVID. I can't come see it. I was pissed. Yeah. I do remember that. You also got pulled over that night because Jeremy didn't have you registered.
He didn't have a fucking permit, dude, in the back window. I got pulled over. It was during the day. The dude, the cop pulls me over. He goes, where are you going? I was like, I don't know. I'm following the rest of them, but now I have no idea where I'm going because they all bounced. He's like,
you point me in the right direction.
I give him my license. He's like, Connecticut, huh? I was like, yeah, I flew out here to plow snow. He goes, what? I was like, yeah, I flew out here to plow snow. I was like, so I called Jeremy on the radio. He goes, did you just get pulled over? He's like, I'll be right there. I got a permit. He goes, well, just tell him you forgot to put it in the window. It's a brand new machine. I was like, all right. And he didn't, the guy was like, he was dying laughing. He kind of thought that it was a joke. And then I don't know, he got kind of pissed at the end of it. I was like, all right.
The cop did? Or the fucking trooper did? Yeah, dude, they can get weird.
Yeah. He's like, all right. He goes, you do realize you're over with. I was like, dude, my shit's not even registered. And you don't even need, like, I've tried to register our loader to drive it on the road. So I drive ours on the road and they won't, there's not even like a registration that you can do it for.
You just go.
My shop's on Main Street. Everything I plow is on Main and East Main. I just go. I mean,
fuck yeah.
I don't know. When they pull me over, I'll tell them, here's my 2 attempts to, register it. If you tell me how to do it, I'll gladly go do it, but nobody there knows how to do it. So how am I supposed to register it?
True. That's fucking funny.
It's funny. Yeah. Good stuff.
Good shit. So speaking of GIE, are you going out to Con Expo this year or next year?
I am. Oh yeah. Yeah. We won't miss it. Yeah. No, we went back in 2020. That was our first time, and I got married in October of 2020. So that was like my bachelor party, was Vegas and Town Expo. And so I was so I was a demo operator with Steel Wrist at their booth. So it's kind of like, it was cool. Like they hooked it up for me to go a little bit, and they took care of us. It was cool. We were at the booth, and then we did a lot of cool stuff. We went to the dam and stuff like that, and kind of the normal stuff that everybody does. And so I'm trying to book our house, but there's like 10 or 12 of us that are going. And so I'm trying to book our house, but it's too far in advance. Nobody on Airbnb will let me book it yet. But we're ready to go. It's a blast, man.
Are you going back with Steel Wrist? Or are you going with your own company?
Yeah, so I think me and a couple of my guys are gonna go, and then there's a group of us, like just a bunch of like young guys, all business owners. My buddy Dakota, he's got a paving company here in town that he started, same time frame as me. Just a bunch of like-minded guys that love construction equipment and just love networking and shit. So we're all going out, and then I got to talk to Christian and the guys from Steel Wrist, and if I have the opportunity to do it again, at least maybe for a day or something. It was a cool opportunity. We did a lot of the live demos. It was all kind of like sequenced and whatnot, and we had all these skits to do, like picking up different attachments and screening buckets and pallet forks and stuff. So it was a cool experience, but there's a lot of really good talented operators out there that are part of the Steel Wrist team that if they can get a shot, man, it's awesome. It's a good experience.
Yeah, we'll have the whole crew out there this year, and I'll be speaking on Wednesday at the show, so you'll have to stop out. Just an educational session on like marketing and construction and stuff. So, but
awesome.
Yeah, once we get our hotel locked down, we'll let you know, because we're hoping to get, like you said, just a bunch of like-minded entrepreneurs, business owners in the construction space in the same hotel. Just have a badass time. So I know Luke and I are pretty stoked.
It gets dangerous.
I'm going to bring my debit card so I have a limit just in case.
Bring cash. Just bring cash.
Dude, I brought cash and I came home with money. How bad is that?
Oh, you gotta love insane. That's not bad at all. You're playing the system.
No, like I did. I don't know. I mean, and I didn't even really gamble. I was up like $500 on something stupid. Like, I'm not a big gambler. I went with my brother-in-law. He's like a high stakes blackjack poker player or whatever. I don't know. He plays all this crazy stuff. He goes to Vegas 3 times a year. Jeez. And a bunch of my buddies that went with us, they were all out gambling, and I was just like, I was so shot, man. Just between walking around at the show, doing the shows, and just partying and hanging out. We didn't really do that much partying. It was just like it was just shot,
Yeah.
Just a long hour days.
For sure. So James, I gotta change gears here a little bit. So we talked about it. We talked about it with you, having a baby boy, but on the other side, you're married, I'm married, Luke's engaged. What's it like being an entrepreneur, and what's it like for your partner? Because I think we all have something to say about, our partner and going through all of that, because being an entrepreneur is not easy at all. So what has that been like? I think you started in 2016 was the year.
Yep.
How has that journey been, and how has Colleen been, by your side through it all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first off, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for her. She everybody's got their person, and she's the backbone to our success. She really is. She's not there holding a weed whacker. She's not in my office. But when I go home and I break down from the struggles, from this, the highs, the lows, she keeps me together so that I can go and show up the next morning to make sure that my guys can, get everything done that they need to, that there's money there, there's jobs there, there's equipment, supplies, the whole 9 yards. Like, she's the foundation to like me. Yeah. Like, dude, there's days that break me, like, just how the hell are we going to make payroll? How, and it doesn't get that bad. Like, I'm Irish, I'll spend my last dollar, but like, this cash flow, man, like it's tough. Like, as you grow, like the cash flow, like it's so much harder. Like, you're waiting on big jobs, and it's like, I find myself putting $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on American Express in 30 days. And it's just like, I'm like, just to get, while we're, getting progress payments and stuff like that. And obviously we keep up with it, but it's like, there's stressful months where I'm like, it's tough. And, she feels the wrath of a lot of it. And you know what? I'll be straight up and honest. There's been months where she literally texts me and say, like, when I was, working my union job before I went out and went on my own and, really went into this full time, like, we we didn't live like an extravagant life, like at all. And like, we still don't, we live a pretty basic life. Like we live comfortably. Like I take a lot of risks and, you know, with that comes reward, but you know, we didn't really start living life until a couple of years ago. After we got married, like 2020, we started vacationing a little bit and like starting to enjoy life because we knew we were going to have a baby and start a family and stuff. And we really didn't do anything the last 10 years, like a couple weekend trips here and there. And just to like say, okay, hey, like I'm still your partner. I'm still here. Like a lot of 18-hour days, man, like 7 days a week, 6 days a week. Like I've taken 4 Sundays off all year this year, like since March. And like, I'm supposed to dedicate I told her years ago, like I dedicate my Sundays to her. It's fucking impossible. It's absolutely impossible. And it's like, it's an emotional situation, you know, conversation, because it's like some days, like I want to say, fuck this. Like I'll just work Monday through Friday. We'll work 4 10s or, you know, like it's not to anybody that wants to go into a business. Like if you think that it's going to be less stressful or you think you're going to make your own schedule, I thought the same fucking thing. You know, but it's 100%. Like, there's so much demand, like, especially right now, like there's so much demand to the point where it's like, it takes a huge emotional toll. And like, so getting back to like where I was going before, like when, you know, I was on my, you know, before I went on my own, like she told me she'd rather be fucking broke back in a small house with, you know, than seeing me deal with, you know, the amount of stress that I deal with sometimes, whether it be guys, whether it be cash flow, whether it be maintenance broken down, like, so, you know, there's things that, you know, and again, those are conversations. Like we're both happy with what we do, but like, there's really, really tough conversations where we're like, fuck, like, are we doing the right thing? Like, I wouldn't trade it for the world, but like, it's a roller coaster, man. Like when the highs are high, they're high. I mean, there's been months where I'm like, I just made 10 years of my last salary in six weeks, you know? But like, and then there's times where I'm like, fuck, like my guys are making more money than me, you know? I'm like, my guys eat first though. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the way it is. Like if they don't get paid and the fuel bills don't get paid and the material, like, and there's times where we're late on stuff or we're getting to that grace period where we're like, shit, like this person's slow paying. Like, and now like, there's a guy that was telling me, it's like, people don't start fucking you until times get tough, you know, like the last 4 years, like I built a pretty serious business or, you know, like I'm proud of it. You know, I built a business under the Trump administration. I'm not to even get down the politics road, but like, you know, things have been great the last 4 to 5 years. And I'm progressively starting to things that we're buying, we're cash flowing them. I'm buying them without taking a loan out. Yep. We have loans. We have proportional. I tell everybody we have proportional debt to the amount of work that we do and the size business we are, as everybody should. Some guys want to be debt free. I don't really believe in it. I don't have a boat. I don't have a motorcycle. I don't have a jet ski. I don't have none of that shit. I have my house and I have everything else makes me money. Yep. So if I have to have $1,000 payment to make me $1,700 a day and it works 27 days a month, I'm good with it. Yep. Yeah, so, you know, getting back to your question and, you know, I like to go off on tangents. Sorry. So just yell, but
no, dude, we love that. Keep going.
Yeah, no, it's just, you know, it's tough. You know, nobody's really asking those questions and it's people don't realize the shit that happens on the back end, you know, not just the office life and the stuff that you don't see behind the scenes, like actually doing the work in the field. And like, you know, it's tough. And, you know, I thank her every day. And I tell her like every day that I leave on a Sunday morning and I bring her a coffee and then I'm like, I'm just going to be at the shop for 2 hours. Fuck, turns into 1 o'clock, you know? And then she's like, you know, Sundays are supposed to be our day. And I'm like, you know, I'm hoping and praying that, you know, we get to the point where I'm just like, I'm satisfied, but I'm never satisfied. That's my worry. Like, I'm hoping I get to the point where I'm like, you know, hey, we made it, you know, we're comfortable. Like my biggest thing, like one of my mentors growing up, was my dad's best friend. He just sold his business here in town. He bought my grandfather's medical supply business that my grandpa started. It was just a small little hole in the wall business. My grandpa sold it like 25 years ago. It was a tiny little business. And, you know, my dad's best friend bought it. He grew it to this huge thing, you know? And it's a good field to be in. And, you know, he always told me, whatever I can give you for advice, like if you need some advice, like don't ever miss your kids growing up. You know, it was something that I always envied. Like the motherfucker's in a shop, dude, in his office at 4:30 in the morning on a Sunday, just so that he could be back by 8 o'clock so that he can go to his kids' soccer games all day long. Like he was the dad for 20 years, 18 years, whatever old his kids are, never missed anything, you know? It's like, I'm trying to do it now. Yeah. So that I don't have to miss that stuff. And it's, you know, on the family side of things, Luke, like you're asking, like, you know, those are the conversations I don't want to have when there's kids here. And like, you know, I take my work very, very seriously to the point where people laugh at me and they think it's a fucking joke, but you know what? I don't really care. I learned this year to like, not give a shit what other people think. And you know, I'm so worried about our reputation and like, so worried about like, hey, you know, if I make this, a lot of my decisions are based off of what other people's thoughts are going to be, and it sucks. It's just it's something that I, you know, it's one of my my New Year's resolutions. Like, don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. I'm only in competition with myself. I just want to be the best version of myself, right? So like, it just I don't know. We'll see where it goes. And, you know, I think this year is going to be, good. And I think once my son gets here, it's going to be a whole new world. It's going to change things. It's going to make me want to work more, but make me still not want to miss the stuff. You know what I mean? Miss the good times. And I'm going to try to take as much time as I can, but obviously I got a business here too, that's ultimately going to support that life that, you know, I give my son. So like, I have to try to find a happy medium balance and make sure that my wife gets enough of my attention too. Cause you know, I don't want in 10 years for her to be like, well, shit, you know, 15 years went by and like, you were never there, but she's cut from a different cloth, just like I am. That's why we've been together 13 years this year. We're high school sweethearts. Like, we get it. We're both very kind of like codependent. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but we both function without each other, but we both know like there comes that time where we have to meet and we're like, hey, we needed this, you know? Yeah. So like, she's been a great supporter though, man. You know, we're in it together, you know, whether she's not in the business with me, but you know, she's in it with me. So,
yeah, 100%, man. And that's same thing with my wife, and I'm on a totally separate business. You know, we do digital marketing, but for construction companies, and she gets to hear everything, and she gets to, you know, listen to everything and help me strategize and help me keep me sane. And I know I want to tell a quick story, but so I started my agency back in 2019, and it was my second client, Luke Payne, co-host of the Dirtbags, reached out to me, and he's like, Luke, I got my company, you know, Black Iron. I want to get a website going and get that stuff going. So let's talk about it. Basically had everything lined up. And this is like my second client. So I'm excited. I need this. Gives me a call like the week before we're starting. He's like, I don't know, man. I got something to tell you. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but Riley's pregnant. And I was like, dude, it's okay. Like,
you're the first person I told, Luke.
Yeah. I knew before like anyone else, I feel like, besides Riley, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
But where I wanted to go with this is seeing Luke grow through the years, you know, with a little one. And then my wife, Olivia, and I got to visit their house. I don't know, it was probably a few months ago. We were in Fargo and we just got to hang out, and you could just hear it in Luke's voice of how special it is to, you know, just have a little mini me running around. And but at the same time too, he has almost more passion for business and more passion to, you know, run this thing to the moon, and not just one business, but multiple businesses, but be home by, you know, 6:30 or 7:30. I can't remember what time bedtime is. And, you know, spend that time with Lila to make sure that, you know, you get that time. So it's been incredible watching Luke grow through it. And then, you know, James, I know you're going to experience that as well. I don't have any kids yet, but I know they're coming. So I'm excited to go on this journey like with you guys, because I know that there's nothing better than the bigger picture is the family side and the relationships.
No,
and
absolutely.
Business, you know, comes along with it, but it's like finding your why in business is what I am really trying to dig down in myself. And I know in you guys as well.
James, I'm going to go, Luke, thank you for that shout out on that. And yes, Lila's the fucking woman. That's for sure. I love that little girl. Going back to what you said, James, like the hard conversations, you know, obviously nobody really sees that side, right? That's kind of closed doors, you know, your wife, that's your guys' stuff to figure out. 100%, I can relate to everything you just said there about, you know, are we going to make payroll? I'm putting 50 to 80 grand on our Amex cards. How the fuck are we going to pay for that? Dude, felt that 100%.
Yep.
One thing that, I just lost my train of thought because my mind's running 100 miles an hour right now. No, that's, you're not the only one that does, you know, has those tough conversations, has those thoughts. Honestly, Riley and I just had a conversation. It was last night about me working. And I'm sure you can feel that all the time too. She's like, well, you know, here's how I feel, you know, what can we do about it? And I'm like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I like have to do this. You know, I want to set it up to where we're comfortable, like you had said, 5-7 years ahead, to where I can, spend all the time I need with you, can have Lila with me, can have you with me, whatever it is. So no, I get that. Motivators. What do you think are your biggest motivators? Like you said, there's some days where you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? I ask myself that probably 2 to 3 times a week because of just mistakes, or, you're like, fuck, we're not making money on this, or whatever it may be. But everyone has their motivators. And then your motivators, what are they? And then the stressors, how do you combat those?
Tough question, man.
Dude, it's a 2-seated question.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
good luck.
No, so motivation, there's a lot of different motivation. Like, I get motivated by other guys out there killing it. Like, I see other guys doing awesome shit and succeeding. And I'm like, man, like they're doing it, I could do it. Like that's like, so kind of a double answer right there. Like I get stressed. I'm like, how am I going to do this fucking job? And then I look at one of my buddies in town that we're working for, this guy that we've started, doing some contracting for, like, it's just simple shit, like hiring our triaxle, stuff like that. I'm thinking back to like 2018. I'm like, he was 28 years old at that point. He's 33 now. So 5 years ago, I'm like, 4 years ago, this dude was dredging ponds in the middle. He does a lot of like, marine construction and stuff like that. I'm just so highly intrigued by it. And I'm like, how the hell is this guy doing it? And I'm like, if he was doing it then, I could do it. You know what I mean? I could do what I'm set out to do. Right. Yep. So like, I look at other guys and what they're doing, and I'm like, everybody's given the same 24 hours. So like, back to the first question, like just motivation, like, I grew up with split up parents. Like my father, not to get into like whole family situations, but tough growing up, a lot of school systems. I moved all over the place. Like I was in fucking 10 different schools doing 12 years. Like, I was always bullied. I was always like, not bullied, but just didn't fit in, like
you're the new kid. Whether
it was, just new kid, like, hey, we're going to pick on this kid this day. Hey, we're going to, capitalize on, he just moved from here. Like, it's just a lot of like in and around town stuff. A lot had to do with like my parents splitting up. Then a lot had to do with like my stepfather's job. Like they shut down the manufacturing company after 25 years. After my mom and my stepfather, they just bought their first house, in their late 40s, early 40s. They bought their first house, and like then they get foreclosed on. That was like back in 05, 06. Like, so then like we try to move out to like my stepfather's family in Washington State. We move out there for a year, right? Doesn't work out. And then we move back here. Like I'm all over the place. So I moved back here. That's when I meet my wife, right? I meet her in 2007, 2008. We drift apart, reconnect. So like a lot of, and then we reconnect in high school, right? And like, that's the fairy tale. Like now we're together, we're just having a baby. Like, it's just, you think about it, it's like, holy shit. Like we've been together half our lives almost, right? So it's crazy, but like, so like this, a lot of the motivation is like trying to set ourselves up for like, to put my son in a situation where if he wants to go to college, he can go to college. If he wants to run an excavator and be as dirty and stressed out as I am every day, if that's what he loves to do, then that's what he can do. If he wants to drive a fucking dump truck, or if he wants to do ballet, I don't give a shit. Whatever he wants to do, I want my kid to be happy, and I don't want him to stress and be like, and God bless my parents. Like my dad did what he could when he could. My mom always kept the roof over my head. I was never homeless. Came close a couple times where, I stood in line at a food pantry when I was 14 years old, dude, for Thanksgiving dinner, So any person that says must be nice, I fucking flip them the middle finger while they're walking away. You know what I mean?
Off,
like,
right. Yeah.
Fuck off. Must be nice. Yeah, it must be nice. While you were turning 21, dude, I was getting my CDL driver's license and my pistol permit, and I was fucking making 70 grand a year working my ass off. Right. Yep. Like that's the must be nice. Like, I never, and I turn around and I look at my wife. I'm like, dude, we never did, we're never really into that stuff. We're just different. Right. So like, we never really did any of that stuff. Like we just kind of, I don't know. We always wanted to just be like one step ahead of everybody. And, so like, those are kind of like the motivation things of like trying to just, I don't know, just do better so that I could provide a future for like my kids. And, just honestly, my stress, like balance, like to balance out thinking about stressful stuff is just like, just work more. I stay busy. If I found out, like, if I don't keep my mind moving and keep myself busy, like I have ADHD, I think ADD. I don't know. I stopped taking medicine years ago. Yep. Like I could focus on whatever's in front of me for the most part. Right. I just keep moving and just keep working. And like, I found that if I keep myself busy and keep myself motivated, like I do okay, you know? And I hear people like, you know, and I'll be honest with you, like I wasn't even going to go down this rabbit hole, but I get motivation from materialistic things.
Yep.
And this is something that's came off Andy. Like, you know what? I don't give a fuck if somebody looks at me for the wrong ways, thinking that an F-350 Platinum pickup truck, I should not be driving home. That was motivation to me when I was working for somebody and I had to take a loan out for a $7,500 2003 truck, right? That I had a 9% interest rate on. I had motivation to buy that truck, right? I had motivation to buy this F-350 Platinum truck that I'm driving. And guess what that motivation did? It created 5 fucking employment opportunities for 5 different guys.
Yep.
So you know what? That's the asshole dirtbag motivation side of things, to like where I'm like, you know what? I don't know. You know, and I just, you know, I'm humble, man. I'm happy and I'm proud of like things that we've done. And, you know, I'm proud of my team and the guys that work with us every day, the guys that have stuck it out and are here. And I don't know, like there's different types of motivation every day, whether it's just the quality work that we're doing, materialistic things. And, you know, I don't know. And I don't walk around like saying things like that. I don't want it to be misconstrued by anybody listening or anybody that walks around and sees that. But you know what? I've heard it from a lot of people. And you know what? To be honest with you, I don't really care. Like at the end of the day, I provide a lot of opportunities for people in and around. We do a lot of donations to the town stuff, police athletic league, you know, a lot of the community stuff in our area. Like I try to do my part, you know. That's you know, that's it. You know, I'm motivated by doing, you know, good things for the community too, and just, you know, producing good work and, you know, being the best versions of ourselves, you know. I don't know. That's kind of my take on that.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing, right? Like it doesn't, like you had said, who gives a fuck what anybody says? Because one, if you were driving around a 98 rusted shit box, they'd be like, oh man, dude, like, hey, like, whoa, brand new pickup. They're like, geez, fucking wish I could make your money. And you're like, fuck you, can't win. So might as well be happy, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And you know what? It is what it is, man. I just, at the end of the day, when there's 2 trucks sitting side by side and one's $4,000 more to have my ass warm in the wintertime, sorry.
I'm doing it.
Sorry. We're not talking apples to oranges at that point. It's the same fucking price to me. It's just, that's me. I don't know. Everybody doesn't have that mentality. And guess what? The difference between me and them is I respect that. Like if you're content with that, I don't go around shitting on the guy that drives a 99 fucking Corolla because that's what he's comfortable. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But who are you to shit on me because I didn't grow up with this truck. I worked my ass off the last 6 years to fucking have it.
Exactly.
It's not costing you money every month on insurance and fucking taxes. Who fucking cares?
Yeah. What does it matter? What does it matter?
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
People probably bust your balls for your black equipment, right?
Dude,
I'm sure you get that case where people, oh wow, fucking black excavator. What's the fucking
why would
point
you
of
do
that?
that? God, that had to cost you a lot. Yeah, but it's fucking badass.
Cool. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't
Absolutely.
know. I'm like you, dude. I love nice things, and I don't know what it is, but I will work until my fucking face falls off so I can have the nice things that I want. I don't care what anyone says. You know, I know when I get that, I know I worked for it. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm all about it.
Yeah. I think the big lesson here, and James, I'm glad you said it. It's like, don't care about what other people have. Don't care about what other people do. It's just do you and do it right. I mean, whatever makes you happy, go do it. So, and whatever that is for you and your family, I mean, that's what it's all about. So I love that, just diving into that. I mean, obviously that was an insane conversation.
That was really good. So. That was hell yeah, dude. I love that. That was really good.
Yeah.
Next time, don't ever like stop yourself from going down rabbit holes. Go down those rabbit holes because I love them.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Dude, James, and that's why I asked those questions, because I know that especially us three and many people listening are going through the same stuff. And that's honestly what we're trying to do with this whole podcast and the website and everything, is to dive into the stuff that's less surface level, honestly, and more not just deeper. Okay, this is James. What services do you do? How long you been in business? Thanks for jumping on. Like, we want to dive into the good stuff and then also help companies out there and help businesses, and not sugarcoat anything either, because it isn't easy. but there's a good group of people, a good community in the industry that can help them. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. We're trying to help connect the industry. And obviously we just appreciate you so much, man, for jumping on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. I appreciate you guys having me on, even though I'm not a full blown dirt world, dirt bag, whatever you guys call it. But, we're venturing into it little by little, we're capitalizing on the things that people call for, and if we get some experience and we get our feet dirty with it and keep going for it, I mean, whatever, we'll get there. Maybe we'll be doing sewer and water connections soon. Who knows?
Yeah. Hell yeah. We've seen you in the dozer a couple times, so it counts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. That thing, we just got that thing. Nobody really knows, but I was renting one for, I'm a big return on investment. I hate fucking renting. The only thing I rent is my shop. And I never even rented an apartment. Like I stayed with my parents till I was 18 and I got out, 20. I got my first house when I was 21. But yeah, so we were renting that dozer for like the first 3.5-4 months this year. It was an older D3, but it was good. It was a good entry level, like, hey, like get our feet wet with it. And, we had a couple projects that just didn't make sense to beat the hell out of my little track machine, and just realized like, wow, this is fucking way easier. Like, one of my best friends is, his father's like having that saying, having those gray hairs on the job site really make the difference, and so like he 40 years on a dozer, man, like, he's in his early 60s. I mean, he's been running a dozer since he was 18 years old, an excavator and loader. So like, I put him on some sites, like bigger sites that we had moving a lot of material. And I'm like, wow, I've been fucking doing this wrong for the last 2 years. Like, holy shit. So I was like $12,000 in the rentals, like just, hey, can I keep it for another month? Hey, can I keep it for another month? Hey, can you hydro seed for me? I'll barter that month of dozer rental off. And I'm just like, I called Gary and I'm like, I found this dozer on Facebook Marketplace. It's an 04. I'm like, it's 5 years newer. It was a 99 D3 we were renting.
Yep.
And I found this one on Marketplace. Actually, short story. I found this one on Marketplace. It was like exactly what we wanted, same year. So I went up and looked at it. Complete piece of shit. Like it just ended up being, it was wonked out, like line boring, like pins, bushings, like the whole 9 yards, 5,000 hours. The main blade frame was cracked. Like, I don't know how fast you can go to crack a fucking 3-inch blade frame, but this thing had a lot of long hours of pushing heavy shit its whole life. So short story. I'm like, hey, we'll let you know on it. I'm right back in the car and right back down 93 in New Hampshire. Casey, my best friend, his father's my dozer guy, jumps on Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, just find some. I'm like, there's got to be something, right? There's got to be something. We're here. We're 3 hours north. It's like, James, look at this 2004. It's got 1,400 hours on it. Like, all right. Call the guy up. No phone number. Message the guy. Hey, yeah, give me a call. I call him like, hey, we just drove 3 hours. I got my dozer guy with me. Like, I got to look at this like a kid in a fucking candy store. I'm like, will you let me come up and look at it? He's like, yeah, come on up. I can go up there, dude. Original paint on the frame, original paint on the undercarriage, dude.
Oh, hell
like,
yes.
Beautiful machine, like brand new. Like this guy used it on a farm, very original owner. Like I had my my cat rep from HO Penn, Tim. I had him run the serial numbers. He's like, no real history on it. Like this guy, like he took care of it. He did it like everything in-house. Like there's no like major history on it where it's been through like 9 owners, He's like, if it's good, it's good. Gary's running the thing. He's regrading the guy's driveway at the farm, dude. He's looking at me. He's giving me
the one.
I'm like, dude, I'm like, fucking beat it up a little bit. I'm like, don't give the guy the incentive that we're so interested in. He's going to jack the price up. I'm like, fucking relax. So I'm like, hey, will you take a couple grand less than what you're asking? He's like, yeah, all right. I'm like, I should have offered him 10 grand less. Fucking takes it. So nonetheless, we got a dozer now. So I'm like, we're using it on everything, it's just like, and it's good for like entry level stuff and smaller sites and stuff like that. It's just way easier to move topsoil and cut grades and stuff. So it's good, man. We're getting
such a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's having that kind of stuff is, it's very detrimental to the in and out of like a lot of these. I've tried to capitalize on a lot of these like in and out projects, I feel like the return is much higher than being on a site for 6 months or, 6 weeks rather, whatever. I don't know, but we got a couple bigger projects that are long-term. So we'll see how those go, but it's definitely proven to be like a couple day projects in and out, having those things. Yeah. It's a little bit more to move stuff around, but just get stuff done so much faster,
I love it. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, man.
That's fucking good.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
Good shit. Well, I think that's about it, boys. I think we killed it this episode. James, appreciate you, man. Thanks for being on. Thanks for all the insight, just diving in. I mean, everything. So I know Luke and I are going to see you out at Con Expo. Definitely have a good time out there. So we appreciate you, man. And yeah, thanks.
I hope it's not cold, because I'm still waiting for my black iron dirt sweatshirt, because I'm not going to be able to wear it there.
I got Western stuff coming too, so I'll get doubles over to you.
James, I bet you'll get a phaser sweatshirt quicker than Luke sends you that black iron sweatshirt.
Speaking of that, I think Jeremy copped my innovative stuff, because I haven't seen that either.
I brought Jeremy some hoodies, man. I told him, I said, make sure you give them to the guys, or give them to Luke, give them to somebody. You know, he's been good to me. He sends me stuff all the time. He's a good shit. If he didn't give it to you, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Hey, Luke says that he didn't get his hoodie.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'll make sure you get that something.
Guy. Oh, that's good.
Awesome.
Well, yeah.
Well,
James,
man. I appreciate you having me on, man. It's good to talk to guys in the industry, and just kind of share the struggles and share the absolutely. It's fun.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Appreciate and for everyone listening too, definitely follow us on all channels. Go follow James, Innovative. It's Innovative. What's your tag?
Instagram's Innovative Lawn and Landscape LLC, and then it's kind of the same, like Facebook, TikTok, and all. It's all streamlined together. It's all pretty much the same, through all that. Yeah,
because your personal one's Mr. Innovative, isn't it?
Mr. Innovative. Don't tell everybody that, though.
Dude, I know, right? Shit.
Yeah,
but
personal one's Mr. Innovative. I changed that a couple of years ago because everybody just started calling me, and I'm like, what? Fuck it, we're gonna run with it. It's gonna be it's gonna be my new Instagram name.
I love it.
Love it. But yeah, go give them a follow, and then obviously go follow the Dirtbags, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and then our website, dirtbagspodcast.com. Con Expo, the tickets just registered, or you can now register to go to the show when this episode comes out. So go get your tickets through them, and then we'll see you at the show. So cheers, boys. Thanks for another good episode.
Great episode.
Absolutely.